Around 2600 BCE, in the golden age of the Old Kingdom, the desert west of the Nile was alive with sound, the clash of copper chisels, the rhythm of wooden mallets, and the echo of voices chanting in unison. Thousands of men, bound not by chains but by duty and faith, worked beneath the blazing Egyptian sun. They built what no civilization before or since has ever surpassed, the Great Pyramid of Khufu. A mountain of stone shaped by human hands, aligned to the stars, and raised to touch eternity. For more than 4,000 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza has stood as a challenge to every generation that gazed upon it. 2.5 million blocks of limestone and granite, weighing together nearly 6 million tons, assembled with such precision that even today a blade cannot fit between many of its stones. No machines, no iron, only willpower, mathematics, and a vision that defied mortality. To understand this monument, we must return to the reign of Khufu, the second pharaoh of Egypt's fourth dynasty. The son of King Sneferu, Khufu inherited a kingdom of order and ambition. His father had perfected the art of pyramid building, transforming the earlier unstable structures into true, smooth-sided pyramids. But Khufu sought something greater. He would build not merely a tomb, but a stairway for his soul, a structure that would unite heaven and earth. The plateau at Giza was chosen with divine calculation. To the ancient Egyptians, this stretch of desert symbolized the sacred horizon, where the sun god Ra descended each evening and was reborn each dawn. Khufu's architects saw not empty sand, but the foundation of immortality. The limestone bedrock beneath was solid and level, perfect for bearing the weight of a monument to eternity. At the head of this vast enterprise stood a man named Himiunu, Khufu's vizier, chief architect, and kinsman. His title was overseer of all construction projects of the king. Today, his name is carved in the stone blocks at Giza, a whisper from 4,500 years ago. Himiunu was the mind that translated divine will into geometry. The first challenge was design. The pyramid would rise to a height of nearly 146 meters, taller than any structure on Earth, until medieval cathedrals reached for the sky more than 3,000 years later. Its base would stretch more than 13 acres on each side. The angle of its slopes, 51 degrees and 50 minutes, was calculated not by guesswork but by cosmic order, reflecting the Egyptians' understanding of sacred proportion, the harmony of heaven. Before the first stone could be set, the ground itself had to be made perfectly level. Teams of surveyors, using sighting rods and simple water trenches, ensured that the base deviated by no more than a fraction of an inch. Even today, satellite measurements confirm their perfection. It was engineering beyond the reach of almost every ancient culture, and yet, to the Egyptians, it was a sacred duty. When the foundation was ready, the great quarries at Giza came alive. Skilled masons struck the limestone bedrock with copper tools hardened by constant resharpening. They cut thousands of blocks, each roughly 2 to 3 tons, shaping them with astonishing accuracy. The heavier granite stones for the internal chambers were brought from Aswan, over 800 kilometers away, floated down the Nile on barges during the flood season. These stones, some weighing more than 70 tons, were destined for the king's chamber, the heart of the pyramid. The organization of labor was as monumental as the pyramid itself. Contrary to old myths, these were not slaves beaten under the lash. Archaeological evidence shows that the builders were skilled laborers, farmers, and artisans working in a national project of devotion. Their barracks, the workers' village, still lies near the pyramid's base, a city built for the living to serve the dead. Each group of workers was called a file, named with pride. The drunkards of Menkora, the friends of Khufu, and others that echo like ancient sports teams competing for glory. Each file had its own tasks, its own overseers, and its own share of rations, bread, onions, and beer, the fuel of Egypt's working class. The logistics were staggering. Every month, tens of thousands of workers required food, shelter, water, and tools. Herds of cattle were slaughtered daily. Copper smelters worked endlessly to forge chisels and saws. Quarrymen, haulers, surveyors, and priests all labored in rhythm, a human machine guided by spiritual purpose. For to them, this was not just architecture. It was a divine act. Each block raised brought Khufu one step closer to the heavens. But how, even with all this manpower, were the stones lifted into place? For centuries, this question has divided scholars and dreamers alike. Some imagined slaves dragging stones up impossible ramps that stretched for miles. Others conjured secret machines lost to time. Yet the truth, drawn from ancient evidence and modern archaeology, reveals genius in simplicity. The Egyptians likely used a series of straight and zigzagging ramps, built from mud brick, limestone chips, and gypsum. As the pyramid grew, the ramps rose with it, wrapping the monument like a spiral path of earth. On these ramps, teams of men hauled stones on wooden sleds, wetting the sand before them to reduce friction, a technique confirmed by recent experiments. It was not magic. It was physics, mastered through generations of observation. Inside the pyramid, the design reveals even greater sophistication. The Grand Gallery, a passage rising nearly 9 meters high, served as both corridor and counterweight shaft. Above the king's chamber, massive granite beams form a 5-tiered relieving structure, an ancient shock absorber designed to prevent collapse under the pyramid's enormous weight. The precision is breathtaking. The chamber's alignment deviates from true north by less than 1/15 of a degree. The builders were not guessing. They were measuring the cosmos. The internal passages point toward the stars, not metaphorically but literally. The northern shaft aligns with Thuban, the pole star of Khufu's time, the eternal light around which the heavens revolved. The southern shaft points toward Orion's belt, the celestial symbol of Osiris, god of the afterlife. In this way, the pyramid became not only a tomb but a cosmic machine, guiding the pharaoh's soul toward immortality. At the heart of it all lay Khufu's belief in his own divinity. To the ancient Egyptians, the pharaoh was not merely a ruler. He was the living Horus, the embodiment of the sun god upon earth. The Great Pyramid was the vessel of that transformation, the bridge by which the mortal king would ascend to join the gods. Every cut stone, every carved symbol, was part of a sacred equation linking heaven and earth. Construction continued for more than 2 decades. Generations of workers lived and died in its shadow. Some were buried in small tombs near the pyramid, their sacrifice honored by the priests. Others returned to their villages, forever changed by the part they played in eternity's foundation. When the final capstone, the pyramidion, was set in place, it was sheathed in electrum, a gleaming alloy of gold and silver. As the first rays of dawn struck its peak, the pyramid blazed with light visible for miles. In that moment, the people of Egypt saw the sun reborn upon earth, the body of the god Ra rising through the work of human hands. It was not merely a monument. It was the axis of the world. After Khufu's death, his body was carried through the narrow passages, past the queen's chamber and into the heart of the pyramid. Sealed in the granite sarcophagus within the king's chamber, his spirit began its journey among the stars. The doors were closed, the workers left, and the desert reclaimed its silence. Over the millennia that followed, wind and time stripped away the smooth white casing stones that once covered the pyramid, revealing the rough core beneath. Earthquakes shook its edges, and plunderers took what they could. Yet the structure endured, patient, immovable, timeless. Even today, the Great Pyramid continues to challenge modern engineers. Its base remains nearly perfectly square, its sides aligned precisely to the cardinal directions. Modern surveyors, equipped with lasers and satellites, marvel at a precision achieved with nothing but rope, sight, and the human eye. Archaeologists continue to uncover the secrets of its creation. In recent years, fragments of papyrus discovered at Wadi al-Jarf revealed the diary of an overseer named Merer, a man who commanded a crew of sailors transporting limestone from the quarries at Tura to Giza. His words, written in careful hieroglyphs, describe how the blocks were loaded onto boats, carried through canals, and delivered to the horizon of Khufu. For the first time, we glimpse not only the monument, but the human system that sustained it, a nation united in purpose. Each discovery brings us closer to understanding how the pyramid was built, but its mystery endures. The deeper question remains not how the stones were moved, but why so many devoted their lives to moving them. The answer lies in belief. The Egyptians did not see their labor as toil, but as service to cosmic order, the balance of the universe. To build for the pharaoh was to build for eternity itself. Today, the Great Pyramid still stands as it has for 45 centuries, outlasting empires, wars, and the passage of every civilization that followed. The sun rises and sets upon its face, just as it did when the workers first lifted their chisels. Beneath its stones lies the record of humanity's greatest collaboration, not a story of slaves, but of visionaries and craftsmen who reached beyond their mortal lives. The wind that sweeps across Giza whispers their names, long forgotten but never erased. The pyramid remains their monument, their signature written in light and stone. It is both a tomb and a triumph, a silent equation solved by the hands of those who understood that true immortality is built, not granted. The Great Pyramid of Khufu endures as more than a structure. It is a statement that human ingenuity, guided by belief, can turn the impossible into stone, that order can emerge from chaos, that the desire to touch the divine can shape the world itself. And so it stands, a mountain born of human will, the heart of ancient Egypt, and the eternal answer to a question asked since the dawn of civilization. How high can humanity reach when it builds not for life, but for forever?